Hey everyone, Lumi here. Hope y'all are well. We're going to be looking at some more TikToks about the job interview process because I am still waiting to hear back from those two potential employers, and I'm trying to, well, I guess I can't help but think about it. So, um, yeah, I'm just going to indulge on that, and we're gonna look at some of the struggles that other people are going through and see if we can relate on that front. But if you're new here and you like what you see, consider liking and subscribing. Leave a comment down below, and let's get into it.
All right, my sister's going to her first interview ever. How do you feel?
Nervous.
Why do you want to get a job?
So I can buy myself anything I want.
Your boyfriend doesn't buy anything?
He does.
Oh.
Right?
No. So why should we hire you?
I think you should hire me because... Is that the manager?
So this is you before your interview. Do you have a job right now? No? We'll see when you come back what they say. Don't cry. Go. Stop. Stop crying. Are you serious? For now?
Yeah, I feel really bad for this girl. I mean, this is probably her first real experience looking for a job and the whole job interview process. And let me tell you, it's not easy. Um, if you are an introvert or you come off as like a little bit shy, as I think she kind of seems a little shy, um, it can be really stressful. And someone who suffers with like social anxiety, it's really bad for me personally, to the point where I'm like sweating, I'll be stuttering over my words, and it's really challenging. It's very difficult for me personally. I mean, once I get into like a groove with it, um, it gets a little bit easier. Especially if it's one on one, I feel like it's a little bit easier because I can just kind of think to myself in my head, okay, I'm just here to like make a friend. That usually helps a lot. If you think to yourself, okay, this is someone I'm trying to just be friends with, and not think about it like, oh, this is someone who is gonna gatekeep, my basically my livelihood if I don't if I don't like hit it off well with them or like say the right things or etc. That usually helps tremendously. So, but yeah, for this girl, I mean, unfortunately, she didn't get the job. As you can see at the end there, she's in tears, and yeah, I'm sure she kind of froze up like a deer in the headlights there. Um, I mean, I don't know. It could have gone either. I don't know how it went, but I know I would like when I was first like looking for job interviews or jobs, and I'd interview. I would often like just completely freeze up, or I would just like stutter, and I did not come off as like a confident person. And that stuff really matters. And that's like one of the reasons why I wanted to start this whole channel is to just like work on my like social skills and my like public speaking abilities, because I consider this public speaking. But yeah, I mean, my advice is like it just takes a lot of practice, really. Um, and again, like if you go into it thinking like, oh, I'm just here to make friends, that helps a lot. Um, Another thing is, I think I don't know if it was her sister or her friend filming, but when friends or family they like try to help you out and like do a mock interview, that has never worked for me because it's just completely different. Like you need to one way to practice is just to do it. I mean, you can just apply to jobs that maybe you're not like I don't know, that you wouldn't take anyway. I mean, that's kind of messed up because you're like taking up the time of the hiring team, but I don't know. just there's no comparison. Um, there's no substitute for the real thing. So whenever like you if you're like practicing with friends or family, like it's not gonna be the same. I mean, the most I can do is maybe like it'll allow you to kind of organize your thoughts ahead of time and kind of give yourself like a little like script, I guess, in your head to prepare. Um, but yeah, you should never try to like memorize stuff to say. I mean, it should come off. You should try to like make it come off naturally. But again, yeah, it's there's no comparison really to the real thing. You just gotta shut up and do it, really. Okay, this next video I think is from a user who appears to be like either a life coach or maybe she is like an HR person or works with a hiring team or recruitment agency because she seems pretty knowledgeable of like what she's talking about. But I haven't watched the whole TikTok all the way through, but yeah, we're gonna watch that next, and I'll give you my 2 cents on that.
When you're asked in a job interview, tell us about yourself. Don't panic. And whatever you do, don't just talk for 30 seconds. It's impossible to explain your career or summarize your accomplishments in 30 seconds. And you can't blather on for 20 minutes either. So here's a great framework that I came up with to keep you on track and to tell them what they want to hear. You're going to first talk a little bit about your past. Tell them why you went to college, why you majored in what you majored in, maybe your first couple jobs, or if you had an impressive internship. And then present. What are you currently doing at your job that would qualify you for this position? And then move into the future. Don't just stop talking once you've talked about your current job. I want you to move the conversation forward by asking them questions about this role, or even telling them how excited or enthusiastic you are about this position. Because you can never go wrong by telling someone that you're interested in this job, you're excited for this opportunity, that you would be a great fit for the organization. That's how you end that answer. So when someone says, tell me about yourself, I want you to focus on those 3 things in that order: past, present, and future. I hope that helps. For more tips on how to interview better, follow me. Get an Interviewology profile to discover your interview style. It's a customized 40-page workbook that walks you through everything that you're doing right and wrong in interviews. And you can also get my book, Interviewology, The New Science of Interviewing.
Yeah, no, she definitely knows what she's talking about there. She seems super, like she's been through it, and yeah, she seems honestly like a hiring coach or an interview coach, like a professional one. Yeah, no, I mean every point she made is pretty good. Especially with that first question is always kind of tricky for some because it's like one, it's the first one. You're kind of just like you're still kind of nervous. You haven't said anything of substance yet, and it's like the first impression, so it carries a lot of weight with it. But she makes a great point saying like, okay, just break it down into 3 things, keep it simple, just talk about the past, the present, and the future. Um, all great points. Yeah, I mean, I think at my last interview when I got hit with that question, I just stuck with like the past because I know they follow up with things that they want to ask me specifically. So I don't want to like lay out all my cards at once. I think that's kind of um not foolish, but like a little naive, I guess, because you want to leave something, to talk about in the rest of the interview. And you also want to keep it somewhat vague because if you lay it all out there and they ask you like a follow-up on something that maybe you don't want to necessarily talk about or might have sensitive information tied to it. I mean that's also a thing. Like you have to be careful with what you say. Like um, I know for like my last job, some of the things I did, some of the things I saw at these companies or with our clients was secretive. So like you got to be careful with what you discuss in an interview. So just keep that in mind. By the way, I wasn't working for like the government or anything like that, nothing crazy. But there are corporate secrets that you need to just keep in mind and make sure you don't don't attach like corporate names. Keep it vague. If you sometimes it's nice to share stories or past experiences. Keep that vague. Don't drop any names. Don't drop any like client names or company names. Um, yeah, and keep it real. I mean, at the end of the day, the interviewer is human, and you want to be able to relate to them and talk to them about things because if they hire you, they're going to be talking to you a lot, every day. Most likely, the people who you interview with are either going to be your boss or like your team leader. So, yeah, just keep that in mind.
Dude, why is going for a job interview so goddamn embarrassing? Like, please, Papa, could I have some money? Oh my God, could I have some health insurance, perhaps? Please. They say, oh, why do you want to work here? I don't. What do you do for fun? I sleep. What are your hobbies? I scroll on Instagram. I need money. I need money and health insurance, baby. I don't really have a passion for what I'm interviewing for, but I'm here. I'm here, am I not?
I love this so much. I mean, I can really relate. I hate how in society we kind of all play this weird game where it's like we're trying to fool each other that things ought to be a certain way or you have to talk about things a certain way when in reality like or in the back of our heads we all know like what this is, Like I hate that terrible job interview question where it's like, "Well, why should we hire you?" It's like, "Well, it's because I live in a capitalistic society and I need to get paid." You know? Like I might not want to be here, but I need this. I need this job. I need to live. I need money to live. Like it's so silly. But you have to like put on this weird like song and dance and say, "Oh, it's a great opportunity and it'll be life-changing and blah blah blah." It's just like a bunch of like kiss-ass rhetoric usually. But God, yeah, this girl is speaking facts here, honestly.
Okay. Can you tell me about a time you were a part of a team and what your role was?
When I was a part of a team,
Yeah.
let me see. A part of a team. I know like I have to, ask people for help and I don't know, like let me see. What can I when I was a part of a team and okay, I can say when I worked at Kroger's, like there's a cashier and I was doing the like bagging the groceries, and as far as working with a team, I don't know. I can't really. I worked at a grocery store, so I had to help the cashier or help my other employees. I can't really.
Okay. Okay. Can you give me an example of a time you had to tell a customer something they didn't want to hear and how they responded?
When you told a customer something and they didn't like it and how they responded. Well, when I was a caregiver, I had some patients that had dementia. They didn't really know what was going on. She would say, I don't want to take this medicine, and I would say, you just gotta have patience. You have to be patient, and you have to have the skills, and I would tell her, well, you have to take the medicine because this is for your health. But in that field, like customer service, I feel like I would have to, go by the book, tell them, what it is, and if they don't like it, I'll have to tell a supervisor or something like that.
Okay. Okay, and you said your current availability was open.
Yeah.
Do you have reliable transportation?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions for me?
No, ma'am.
Just keep an eye on your email, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can already tell you she probably didn't get the job. There was so much wrong with that. First of all, I don't condone that, like, she was looking up, she was probably like using ChatGPT or something. I mean, she said it in the like text that she was like trying to look up a good answer to that question. But I feel it, like it's hard, especially when you don't have like a whole lot of experience and they ask you something like, "Oh, well, how did you handle like a frustrated customer or a frustrated client?" And if you don't have a story or like a good story to tell, it's kind of just like, you're kind of SOL there. So I don't know. And then at the end, it got kind of like awkward. Like, and also she didn't have any questions for her. You should always try to have at least like one or two questions at the end of the interview. It kind of shows that, you're really considering this, and it's just more. It's more like assurance to the interviewer that like you are thinking about this job seriously, you're taking the whole thing seriously, and it's just good to ask a couple questions. It can be super basic, just like, oh, like my go-to is like, oh, what's the day-to-day situation like for this position? Or like what's the I know a lot of people like ask about insurance, like what kind of insurance policy they supply, or a vacation is another good one. But I don't know if that's like the best the best question to ask. You don't want to like sound like you're gonna take 2 weeks off as soon as you get hired. So yeah, usually the go-to good one is like, oh, what's the day-to-day like? Because that gives you a good idea of like what you should expect, and it also gives them some idea that you're seriously considering this. That's gonna do it for this one. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you think interviews should be a lot easier, and like the video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it. So consider subscribing if you enjoy this kind of thing. And yeah, thank you so much. Later.